0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. And the line will be available at 10 o'clock. And the one for text messages and WhatsApp chats, which will be activated soon as we begin the discussion, is 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. And you can also listen to this program and every other Agate Radio content on www.agateradiotv.com. Once you log on to that website, kindly check the top right corner and you see a radio icon on it. On that top right corner, if you click on it, you'll be sure to listen to us live. And also on Radio Garden, if you have your Radio Garden app on any device at all, you can also listen to Agate Radio there. Ms. Atsehe, let's begin the engagement. You've been involved in the local government administration as a 30 of government for a very long time. Give us an assessment of what you have seen in the performance of local government administration over the time.
Well, before I give any assessment, I would like to take you down the memory lane of how it has always been. We have had local administrations, predating the colonial era, but they were not as structured as what we have now. They were either at the level of villages, compounds, or communities. It was after the regional government that came into place that we started having local government administration in form of native authorities. And in history, the first local government administration in Nigerian history was Ikotepene, when the British West Africa government had established it to try to see it was as a county. We've gone through these developments through the native authorities to what we have today. And before now, there was the regional government and the native authorities. In fact, there were no states. So local government or native authority administration has been there for a very long time. We have seen the ups and downs of the system. But until 1976, following the Dasuki report, we now had a local government reform that gave the local government administration a lot of prominence. And the local governments were now being created by military governors and military administrators. So from day one, they became creations of states. And since then, they have continued to remain as appendages of the states. We have seen the good times of local government, and we have seen the bad times of it. For instance, when Ibrahim Babangida was the military president, he had actually granted financial autonomy to local governments, where allocations to local governments were coming straight and they could pick their checks from the federal pay office. This made developments at the local government much worthwhile. So in Benue State, most of the things you see on ground at local governments were the things done during that time. But thereafter, with the promulgation of the 1919 Constitution, everything was domiciled in the states. Though the Constitution, chapter 7, makes provision for elected councils, regrettably, we don't have them more often than not. And the Constitution again makes provision for states to make laws for the structure, administration, and financing of local government. And the joint account system came into being. This has been one of the biggest headaches that we have had at that level, because monies meant for local government do not get to them as it is expected. And we have not seen a declare of the system. More so that the frequent change of leadership at that level has made it impossible for any proper planning at the local government. And each state leadership comes with his or her misgivings about the local government, and therefore try to introduce changes either unconstitutionally or constitutionally, so that they can have their people at that level. And the times assigned for these new administrations all over have not been able to be enough for any good planning at that system. And the editing of the allocations to the local government by the states has also affected. And of course, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So if one comes in as a caretaker chairman or as a sole administrator, he cannot begin to challenge anything. And even where elections are held, they can better be called selections than elections. It's not the will of the people. In most cases, in the recent past, it's not candidates that may have been loved by their people. They are candidates who are loyal to the government of that particular time, or they are candidates who are perceived as party men, and they are given this appointment as a reward for their contribution to the parties. So even in form of making it democratically elected, the process ends up with selection. The people who are put there are simply selected, and most recently with the establishment of a state independent electoral commission, when time elections are held, the party that controls the state wins all the elections or claims to win all the elections. So it's like building a weak foundation. The whole thing, the foundation as it is now, is being premised on very weak blocks, which is making it difficult for the building to stand. The changes in the local government, that's the political changes, is not the only area. The career people in the local government have seen these changes in the political arrangement and have all joined in lobbying for positions or officers whose tenure of retirement have not even reached. So you can now see that a new government comes, there is a new political structure, they bring in new heads of administration, they bring in new chief accounts officers and treasurers, they change all heads of departments. So you don't have experienced people that can stand the test of time. You don't even have the experienced people that can draw the attention of the political leadership and tell them No, this is not how this is done. And so it just has been a mixed up. And that is what we have been having. So it's a very sharp declare, and I don't think we are paying enough attention to the local government. If we pay attention to local government, there will be much development in this country. Because the issues the people at the grassroots require as their own measurement of development may not be as big as we try to put everything together at the level of the state. Some communities need rural access road. The culverts over some muddy areas or streams can easily connect them to the center. Local governments are expected by constitution to establish markets. Local government has a lot of functions defined under the constitution, but most of these functions again are taken over by the states. For instance, the primary education system is a system that is domiciled in the local administration. You now have the establishment of state universal basic education all over Nigeria. You have a national commission for basic education. They have clearly taken up these functions. And as we talk now, there are some public primary schools with as much as 2 teachers. I mean, as little as 2 teachers, some 3. And the control is in Makurdi. Regrettably, or the control is in the state headquarters, wherever they are. But I'm trying to be particular about what happens here in Benue State. So most of our public primary schools have no teachers. And it's just a matter of super will come up, say they are carrying out screening, and no attention is being paid. But when the primary school systems were controlled by the local councils, it will not be long before they will know that there are no teachers in this school. And the people in the education office at the local government education department try to know even the staff of the primary schools. Here we have their control at the state, and then local government monies are deducted to pay them. So it is not, since their control is elsewhere, the council chairman and whatever you have, they have little or nothing to do. The adult education program, there is an agency for formal and adult education now at the state, when these are supposed to be primary educational programs to be handled by local councils. Even in the area of health, you have the primary health care board, which the money for their payment is deducted from local government, but the control is not coming from local government. So you see, you can't question anybody. They have their allegiance to people who can discipline them, but the local councils are funding in terms of salaries. It makes it very, very difficult for us. You don't see the collection of tenement rates. These are not things that are being done by local. Constitutionally, there are issues that are spelled in the constitution that should be done by local governments. But all their functions have been taken over. And then at the end of it all, you have so much supervision of a system that is not working. You have the Auditor General who comes and checks the local government and prepares his report. You have the Bureau for Local Government who has a political and fiscal direction of local governments. You have the Local Government Service Commission who is supposed to be employing, training, and posting and upgrading staff. With all this, they are from the state. But when the system fails, they quickly look at the system be not succeeding because of what is happening at the local area. But most of the problems of what we have at the local government are being orchestrated by the states.
Okay, let's go back to the factors. You traced a very important history of the coming into being of local government. Since that time, would you say there has been autonomy for the local governments as spelled out in the Constitution?
Yeah, the Constitution doesn't really give local government any freedom. The 1999 Constitution doesn't give local government any freedom.
But it's an independent tier of government.
But way back, the native authorities, they were collecting their taxes, raising their revenue, and doing their own programs. Now, the Constitution talks about democratically elected system of government. Clearly, that's what we don't have. The Constitution defines the functions of local government. That's clearly what we don't have. Most of the functions are taken over by some agencies of the state or some boards. And so you cannot say that the local government system is progressing. Before now, you find parks constructed by local governments, motor parks, amusement parks, and all that. These are all issues that are supposed to be under the local government system. The control of the sewage system. There are lots of functions that, if they are allowed to operate, we will have development at the grassroots. We brought all these things together under some agencies of the state. The concentration more often than not ends at the state headquarters or some of the few cities that we have. For instance, you now have the environmental agency, which has removed all the public health staff of the local government. Before now, you have the sanitary inspectors inspecting the toiletry system, the foods that were being sold, and in fact examining everything. Now you have an agency for environmental sanitation, as they would call it, and you don't have this category of staff now at the local government. You don't. So that has been our biggest headache. Everything about local government is being taken away, and then you go back and say it's a system that is not working. Allow them carry on their functions, allow them have the resources that are for them, and then you will see whether there is development or not. And let me tell you, it will help reduce pressure on the states, because many of the people we have to go back to their places. Even as contractors, they can go there, see contracts to construct rural roads and culverts or some of the new infrastructural development that comes up. So the system is being concentrated at the state. Functions of local government are being taken away to the state. At the end of the day, they say the local government system is not working. I don't think that is right.
Okay, so looking at this, the factors that hinder the autonomy and what has actually made this over concentration, how can it be corrected for us to strengthen the third tier of government?
You see, when you talk about autonomy is selecting leadership, their own kind of leadership. Autonomy in hiring their staff. Autonomy in raising their revenue and also managing their own finances. Regrettably, when we talk about the local government autonomy, we tend to over-concentrate on the allocation. If you are giving money and the people who are there to manage the money are not the people who are not elected by the people, what kind of autonomy will you be giving? But this is a constitutional issue, and it must go through the constitutional process to have the right things done. The state has its own structure. They have their auditor general, accountant general, and all that. The local government are all put together under one system. Of course, if you want to rationalize it, systems like the commission can be there to regulate, since it's a whole lot of working structure. But where you have a local government legislative council making bylaws for the running of the local government, they are supposed to be checking the operations of councils. They are supposed to do oversight of local councils. Here again, at one given time, the State House of Assembly takes over these functions and even make recommendations for suspension of chairman, making the work of the local legislative council irrelevant. At times, the local legislative council will take a decision, the State Assembly will overturn it. So even the supervision of local councils is being done by the state, and they do not know the peculiarities of what is there at the local government. Until these areas are readdressed, we will just continue to shout about local government autonomy, local government autonomy.
Okay, the working structure of the local governments, which you rightly pointed out. There is the executive arm, that is the chairman's office, and the local government legislature. You have also been involved in the administration as a DGSA. How do you assess the working structure at that level between the executive and the legislative arm of the local government?
We need to really train and retrain people when we put them into office to understand why they are there. I'm not sure whether some local councils understand the process of budget making, drawing a plan for the local government. So it has been one thing packaged by the career people, and they discuss it, pass it, and even there, they still have to bring it to the Bureau for Local Government for guidance to get an approved budget passed by the local councils. When they prepare their estimates, proposals, they still have to take it to the Bureau for Local Government. They will vet it before sending it to the local councils. So you can see the journey of it. And I'm not sure whether the budget as planned are ever followed, because a lot of things keep coming outside the budget. I think the system as it is now works more with instructions from above than with the budget. You can hardly have somebody advising that this issue that has come up was not captured in the budget, so we can only do a supplementary budget to cover that. So the working structure has been mixed up. By the time when we were there, we were always guided by the local government estimates. You want to employ, you look at whether there is provision for the upgrade, whether there is provision for new staff, and all that. Now, well, for long, I don't think they have even employed. And so many people are out. I don't know what the budget is looking like now. So for a long while now, the local government has just been a windmill, just rolling in one place. We must do something if we want to have peace, if we want to have development. Development should start at the grassroots. If the people there are made to carry their destiny or determining the kind of things they want done in their places, it will help us more than if we have everybody coming to the state headquarters to bring something home. For instance, for how many years now, I don't think there has been any employment in the local government for some time now. Regrettably, one of the regimes came in and laid off those who were employed in 2011 without getting the people who made the employment possible to explain why there was this kind of employment. Well, let me use this opportunity to explain this to you. By the time Benue State was created in 1975 to 2010, some of the staff that were there had done their 35 years, most of them. Some that were employed along the line, because there was no age consideration, they became too old to continue in the service and had reached 60. So there was massive people who left the service, either as a result of the long years of service meeting up the 35-year requirement, either as a result of being old enough, because when they were recruiting at the beginning of it all, nobody put down on the table age consideration. A new system of government came at the various levels that were created. So some of the people employed could only put in like 15 to 20 years of service. And by 2010, the system, most of the people were left the service by retirement, by age, by some even died. And so there was a decision to replace or recruit by 2011, which was done across the state. When the new government came in, they didn't see anything good about what happened and threw away all these young men and women who were engaged. Of course, some of them have become criminals. And so you now have a large chunk of people laying the streets or the roads or the kiosks by the roadside if you travel out. There's nothing to engage them. And the service organs of local government that could have engaged these people, like agriculture department, if the extension programs were properly articulated, they could be thought on how to improve on their production. Fertilizer will come through these channels or some of the other inputs. Now, you will not know how many people are in the employment of local government, but I'm sure there are far little staff left in the local government system. And what you have, a lot of inexperienced hands too, because each regime comes with its own sweeping arrangement. So actually we need to work hard. If we want real development, it must start from the grassroots.
Okay, let's go to looking at the political structure of the local government, that's the executive and the legislature. Let's go to the civil service structure of the local government. It is alleged that those who are career civil servants at the local government level actually sabotage the growth of the local government as a third tier of government. How do you react to this, Mr. Atsehe?
Career people don't sabotage any regime. Career people are a function of what the regime wants. How can you sabotage a local government chairman when you are supposed to be taking instructions from him? There's no way you can sabotage him. And you see, you can only sabotage what is in place. And I'm telling you, for some time now, a lot of things are not in place. So what are you sabotaging? You want to construct a road leading from point A to Z, and the department are not bring out the drawings? Or you want to establish a market in one location, and rather, it's the communities that, if they want, can sabotage the system. There's no way a career person can sabotage any government at the state, at the local, at the federal. What they call sabotage sometimes is because there is resistance in the wrong procedure that is being adopted. The system has rules and regulations. It is the responsibility of the career people to bring out these rules and regulations to the political leadership. Yes, you want to do this. Sir, this is how it is done. This is the procedure you are going to take. First, you will have to bring the idea. It will be captured in the budget. Once the budget is approved, it is now ready for execution. But if you wake up one day, I just decide that, okay, I'm going to build a hospital in my village because I'm the chairman. And when I leave office, nobody will build this for me. And they are insisting that, but this must be captured in the budget. Then you can call it sabotage. But there is a clean way of doing it, which can be captured in the extraordinary, in the supplementary budget. They do these things without looking at the rules and regulations and how these things should be done. In that case, you can say the career man is sabotaging a politician. But there is no way a career civil servant is out to sabotage any politician. What they will normally do is that they will give you their advice, and those who are as courageous like some of us that were there to have stayed for long will first advise you verbally, and if you insist, we go back and put a memo to you on the issue, and if you go ahead and reverse whatever suggestions, then we know that this is an order. We still go ahead and do it. But we see, the whole issue of civil service is a funny one. The real civil servant knows how to shift blames. That's why in the past issues were discussed properly before decisions were taken. Not now that you go to a local government and you will just have the DGSA, the treasurer, few heads of department. Okay. Before you want to do something, maybe the younger officers are called and discuss with, please let's have a memo on the need to establish something. They will bring up this memo, it will go through the channels. By the time it comes to you as a chief advisor to council, you should be able to know how that is going to be done. But a situation It's where you wake up in the morning and decide that you want all the money from the market. You say, don't pay that money into the account. And they resist and say they want to sabotage you because you want to get some money. Then it's unfortunate. And in fact, let me tell you, when they talk about sabotage, it's because they are stopping you from getting money. It's not about project. All this sabotage thing, they talk about civil servant sabotaging. When you say no, you can't take money this way, say you are sabotaging. That one, there's all civil servants everywhere, states everywhere, are being accused of. But if they know they are left and right, you insist on money, they will still tell you this is the proper way to take it. So the issue of sabotage is more related to where somebody wants to have his way improperly, and you are insisting it should be done properly. So the career people in the local government themselves will not go out to sabotage you. But let me also tell you, the civil servant is the worst enemy to himself. And the local government staff are the enemies to themselves. Because when a new chairman comes, the people from that community who are in the service will come and sit around the chairman and tell him it is our turn. Then they would want you to change everything and give to them. In some local governments, you have information officers who are not from the information office. In some local governments, they will tell you, sir, I want to be the protocol officer. And they don't care where that person is, as long as it's from the chairman's end. You understand?
Very well.
Not just that. They will come and tell you, chairman, if you put me in this market, you know how I'll be reporting to you. Those people have been chopping. It's not local. Those people have had opportunity, they've been chopping. It's our time. But let me tell you, if you are a chairman, if you are a DGC, if you are a treasurer, and a revenue coordinator of a market brings a goat to your house, at the end of the market are yams. Just think of how much has gone to his house. That is one. Think of how much the local government is losing. What we don't know is that all these monies are paid into the coffers of the local government, and the chairman and those who have authority over these monies are the ones going to administer it. But you allow yourself to be fooled, by a staff who is normally on trend, whose own is just to get what he wants. So you have skilled and unskilled staff even at that level. The people in revenue mostly are people, who are not properly schooled. Their own is to get the best out of it. And if they come to you and you are convinced that giving you goat and yams and tomato and all that on the market day is better than sending this money to the local government account. I'm sure you understand what I mean.
Very well.
Yes. Throughout my service, I knew that if the monies are paid into the coffers of the local government, I'm the accounting officer. So I would rather you pay whatever you get into the revenue account than seeking to be a good market coordinator, buying coats for me and all that. At the end of the day, they smear your name in the areas they sit to discuss. They try to expose how cheap you are. And you ask them, where will you go with that goat? Don't worry, these people are always demanding. And so I took that goat to appease him. Your name is damaged. Your reputation is gone. And all that. But those who come to run the system for 3 months, 6 months as chairman, think that's the fastest way they can make it. So they have their people in all revenue positions, and at the end of the day they will tell you that even revenue is not coming in, forgetting to know that you had been chopping the goat and the yams and the whatever.
Okay, and that leads us to interrogating the sourcing of revenue for local governments. From your experience, would you say the local government in IGR, that is internally generated revenue, is not self-sustaining for them to execute projects that will impact the people at the grassroots?
There has been this struggle on what should be collected by the local government and what should be collected by the states. And for that, we don't pay regard to what the Constitution says are the functions of local government. So you now can have a state law that will take off some of these functions from the local government, and the revenue base keeps dwindling. The most annoying thing is that through the BRS of states, through the Internal Revenue Service of states, it's not just BRS.
Yes.
You don't find checkpoints, all forms of revenue collection that are not meant to go into the coffers of the state or local government. They will say contractors, they will say so many things have been introduced that government in itself is suffering. I don't know what is happening at the state per se, but at the local government, you have all forms of certificates or receipts given to people to. I've seen many these days, many that are not there in the revenue list of local government. They wake up and introduce something, and that's why you find other people watching this thing, the politicians there. Again, when you come here, you think you want to satisfy your politicians, and you ask them to come and help you tap revenue. You have only settled them. They will tap, yes, very well. They use even force to tap it, but they are not tapping it to pay in the coffers of the local government. So until we really set up a reform program so that we can improve on the local government system, I'm sorry, the whole thing will continue to go down and down and down.
Okay. Dear listener, in case you are just tuning in, you have been listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makdi, Benue State. We've been discussing strengthening local government system in Nigeria, and our guest here in the studio is a retired Director General Services and Administration at the local government level. Retired DGSA Salem Atsehe is our guest here. We are still expecting our second guest. He's here to join us, but if eventually he does, we'll let you know. For now, this is what we are doing. And at 10 o'clock, the line for calls will be available for you to phone in and contribute on what we are discussing. The number to which you can reach us is 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. And the one for text messages and WhatsApp chats, which is already available, is 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. If you are sending a message or a chat on WhatsApp, please remember to include your name and the location you are sending it from. I would like to also appeal that for chats, messages on WhatsApp chats in particular, kindly keep them succinct. Let them be very brief. Don't write too long, because we may not have the time to entertain long text messages. So remember to keep it brief. You can also listen to this program and all our contents on Agate Radio and www.agateradiotv.com. www.agateradiotv.com. Once you log on to the website, kindly check the top right corner of the website and you see a radio icon on it. If you click on it, definitely you listen to us live. Also on Radio Garden, if you have your device with your Radio Garden app on it, any device at all, any gadget, you listen to Agate Radio. This program is also streaming on all our social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you search Agate Radio and TV out on these platforms, you'll be sure to find us and follow the live stream conversation. You may drop your comments on that live stream link, and if they're related to the subject matter we are discussing, definitely we'll take it as your contribution. Mr. Atsehe, I am back to you. Earlier this year, there was a motion moved on the floor of the Senate. The Senate had called on the federal government to suspend funding to local governments that are not constitutionally elected. How do you react to this, even though it has been an issue that from the public domain it is yet to be attended to?
You see, when we go to equity with dirty hands, we cannot. I don't like discussing that matter because it's an issue of some of the persons who are there in the National Assembly had some time been beneficiaries of this non-electoral process. I hope you understand what I mean. I mean, there are people who are there in the National Assembly, House of Rep or senators, who were at one time or the other made chairman of caretaker committees of local government. At that time, nobody called for the suspension of allocations to local councils. Sometimes we tend to overplay politics in the lives of our people. By the time you ask for suspension of allocation to local government councils, you are only looking at the non-elective leadership at that level. You may have forgotten that it will affect the lives of those in this. It may affect the life of those in the service of the local government. If you suspend the to release allocations to local government, it means you have suspended the payment of salaries to local government. It means you have suspended the payment of teachers because their money comes from the local government. Private school teachers. It means you have suspended the payments of primary health care worker because their money comes from the local government. So why it is good to play politics with that? We should be mindful of the consequences of such an action on the populace. So it's not just about suspending allocations to these people. It means too many people will even have to suffer. In spite of that, when they are caretaker or whatever, these other organs of the system still work, they are paid. So you must find a way of stopping the appointment of caretaker or sole administrator. There is a better way of doing it. Not necessarily by suspending allocations. Because the consequences of suspension allocation is bigger than that. But because we are in politics, people want to make suggestions that will cause pains to a general lot of people and begin to criticize government.
Okay, it's about time now for us to engage with those listening to us, as we already have calls waiting on the line. Let's begin to take some. We'll continue to go along. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, you are on.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Peter Shakume. I'm calling you from Catholic Youth Center area.
Okay, good to have you join us on Perspectives, Peter Shakume.
Yes, sir. I've been itching to have my contribution on this subject matter. First of all, my regards to the guest in the house. He has given us a good background to the issue, which I appreciate. Thank you, sir. So let me go quickly to the issues I have with the presentation, sir. The number one is, with all due respect, sir, you have served as Director General Services and Administration. May I find out from you, sir, did you people have this forum for the state, the national, where you meet and pick issues for development? Because some of those associations sometimes prefer solutions to some of these constitutional matters. And then again, what is actually the role of Director General Services and Administration, and then the Treasurer in the management of local government and its resources? Because these people, if I will understand their roles very well, they are supposed to lead, to guide the chairman into issues that they need to do. Like you made mention of raising a memo and then someone looking at it differently, but you have already presented your case. So when you have this kind of issues, what role are you supposed to make in the assessment of that political appointee who is manning that office at that particular time? And lastly, sir, these issues so most of the times, for some of us who have engaged various authorities, they don't come that easily. You need to take further actions by either engaging in legal issues. Because if, for instance, Forum of DGSS, Forum of Treasurers, Forum of Argon, they all engage the state government over the usurpation of local government funds, and at that level, you know, I'm believing that when this is heated quite continuously, it will yield something to the local government. It's quite unfortunate. You have given a good elaboration of what used to happen there, but it's no longer happening. And people are dying because there's no primary health care. The primary schools are moribund. They can't function. The people at the grassroots are not benefiting any education. They will have to send their children into cities before they will go and get quality education. So if these things continue this way and we have these bodies and the bodies are not asking questions, what does the common man stand against, sir? So thank you, sir, for your presentation.
All right, Peter Shakume, thank you very much for your contribution. Several posers will try to respond to them. Thank you. All right, that's Peter Shakume from Georgia Kume with several posers he has raised. We attend to them as much as we can. Anyway, let's engage with some more persons before we come back. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you so much. I am Uncle Matthew Nyam from North Bank.
Thank you, Matthew Nyam, for joining us from North Bank.
My regards to you and your guest.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Your guest has local government organization and administration at the tips of his hands. And what he has spoken, there are no minors, there are no plus. You see, politics now is like the house that Tema built. In the 70s, which we had a novel that says the house that Thomas built. This is the house that Thomas built. This is the food in Thomas' house. This is the rat in Thomas' house. This is the cat. This is the dog. And this is the stick that Thomas has. So it reads, this is the rat that ate the food that was in the house that Thomas built. This is the cat that chased the rat that ate the food that was in the house that Thomas built. This is the dog that chased the cat that chased the rat that ate the food that was in the house that Thomas built. This is Thomas with the stick that chased the dog that chased the cat that chased the rat that ate the food that was in the house that Thomas built. Otherwise, local government, which we are known in our native authority, the two people call it NDA. And when monies in these places were eaten by people who were responsible in handling the money, it doesn't go well with them at all, because you have eaten what belongs to those people from their taxes. Now, because of politics and whatever, they have rubbished the local government system. Everything is controlled at the state. Everything, including election of chairman and whatever. See, what my guest there was talking about how the assembly people, everybody take charge of the local government. This is not correct. The primary schools that are domiciled in this local government are suffering much because of the centralization. These people have refused to obey the principles of management, which is the theory of Henry Fayol, which everybody has been using. And out of these principles, you see have about 5 functions that are applicable in every organization, which entails planning, coordinating, controlling, and organizing. Now, by the time these functions are not obeyed, how will the local government plan? How will they control the staff? How will they organize when there is no chain of command? The chain of command is coming from the state government, which have bastardized the activities of the local government. Including those that we do know that even at the garages or the motor park, revenue officers will be by the gate. Now the state revenue officers go right inside the market of local government. Local governments are left with nothing. And the issue of the appointment of DGSs and all this political appointment, as you may call it. DGS in the local government is just like the permanent secretary who comes from the head of service. Now, the local government civil service commission is not properly organized. If it is organized, local government service commission should be headed by a retired director general of administration in local government who has the technical know-how to apply all these rules on local government. But today, when there is a change of government, you come, you say, this one is on level 15, let's make him DGSA. This one is on level, it's almost coming down to the state. Where in those days, permanent secretary were coming from the head of service, who were administrators. Now they just pick somebody, convert you to this. So the rubbish you do there is only God knows. Okay. So the trend is not followed.
Yes, so...
and the most important thing is like, the statement, our state people are not sacrificing themselves. People who can say this is not correct are not there, because by the time they say no, no politician will come to them, and they will die of hunger. So everybody keep quiet even when things are going wrong. And we are sinking. We are sinking. Our children will suffer it, because we have people that knows it. This is what bastardized the tradition of our education in Finland.
All right.
Because the old people that were there, that have no children, have nobody to help them on the farm, took those things that were given to them by our forefathers, are buried under the ground that they don't have anybody to inherit it.
All right.
And many things went.
Thank you very much.
Look at my guest that was talking so eloquently.
All right.
He knows it.
Okay, thank you.
And nobody invites him for all these things.
We should conclude
So
now.
I think it's better for us to go back to the rules and laws that brought up the creation of local government.
All right.
And then we hand them over back to the local people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you. We should revisit the rules for the creation of local government, the bottom line there for Matthew Nyan. Thank you very much for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Nathaniel, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. A big kudos to my director.
Okay,
My
what's the
name is
what?
Alexis. My
Okay,
name is Alexis. I'm calling from Way.
Alexis, who?
Joy.
Okay, go ahead. Which part of West are you calling us from?
Park City.
What's Park City?
That's Parker.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Alexis.
Yeah, big up to my director. I don't know that God will make me see him today, even if I'm not seeing physically, but the voice is too much. He has spoken the truth. Who like him are supposed to really work in the local government commission. And way forward, we will try and see if we can bring all these people who collect revenue together and make the politicians understand that this is your role. The local government is bigger than the politician. Why am I saying this? He has spoken a lot about it, about how they lay some of these people out of the job. It was very unfair. People died. And the primary care, health care, I don't know why the state will give money at the local government here and they say always the money is shorting. So the way forward on that revenue is for, if you know you are in revenue department and you are in health department, you know you are supposed to generate revenue. We come together so that we will not be having this clash. Because there are a lot of clash. And the governor of this state wants the revenue to be in place. So the politicians will go and collect this revenue, or at the end of the day, they say it's only local government. How do they collect this local government? Separating receipts. They are not even supposed to do like that. So I'm asking the governor of Benue State that he should give more attention to the grassroots at the local government level. Most especially, anytime he sends money to be paid to people should not go away with it and start seeing that there's shortage. And for the primary health care board in Abuja, I don't know how effective they are in this local government in the state. Thank you.
Okay, Alexis, Jeff, thank you very much for your contribution. We
Thank you,
appreciate you. Thank you. All right, the same issues of revenue, getting the primary health care at the local government strengthened, and some of those issues pointed out by Alexis. Okay, let's go back to the concerns raised earlier by Peter Shakume. He wanted to know what is the role of DGSAs and treasurers in local government administrations. And when you raise memos to chairmen, chief executives of local government, and they don't respond to it, what are you required to do constitutionally? But before you respond to that, a few more calls, then we'll come back to those.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning to you.
This is Edamboka calling from High Level.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
I greet the guests in the studio, Salim Mate. I appreciate you too.
Thank you, sir.
You have it at your fingertips. And I was employed in 1986 as a civil servant in Benue State, the core civil servant of civil service of Benue State. I rose to grade level 14. Because I refused to get a degree, I remained on level 14 for about 9 years before I retired in 2019. And I can tell you that civil service is not just the local government. Across the nation, what the white man set down for us, gradually, people have tried their best to throw those things away. My father was a driver. He trained me through the driving. He started a leprosy control something in Kaduna, came down to Benue Plateau State Medical Store, and then he finally became Minister of Health. As a little boy, government vehicles, for you to move from General Hospital in somewhere, Tafa Bele was up there, to somewhere where his boss house is, he had what you used to call a logbook. He will drive the odometer, that thing that indicates distance, will be indicating how many a mile approved. Not to talk of when he's traveling from Kaduna to Jos.
The preamble may be too long. So
control,
yes.
Checks and balances. But gradually Nigeria has run into impunity. Impunity upon impunity. Every day is becoming more violent. That is why you suddenly hear, the only local government, that one minister for so has stolen 2.8 billion. Tomorrow you hear, how do they do it? I don't know whether digitality is worsening the situation. So at the end of the day, the local people, in the past, we are native authority anyway, with their dubageries, going round, doing those things that they used to do. Even then, we know that the traditional ruler of the area was usually giving some gifts. Time to time, they collect some things and go and give the tool. Because the tool didn't have to collect money from government. Not like today that to have become what do you call it, super civil servant. They get salary. In those days, the tool didn't have salary. It was your local people that were looking after you. Today, down the line, everybody, because of what you call, is it the oil boom? Yes. Petrodollar, petro naira, everything. And do you know that if in reality we were serious, as far as I'm concerned, revenue should have, they should have stopped collecting revenue in local government areas.
Okay, why?
In places like Kano, Kano and so on, they were doing it because they discovered that when money was coming, it was enough for them to do projects even at the local areas without collecting the cover for the poor old woman who was selling nuna in the market. And you know that when these old people struggle to collect this nuna, boil it with firewood, smoke entering their eyes, and then one guy will just go somewhere and go and collect revenue that he will not put into water, that he will not put into healthcare, that he will not put into education, but he will put it in one aggrandizement somewhere, chopping pepper soup and spoiling people's daughters. God himself will say, no, this is very bad. So the system continues to collapse. The earlier we take a serious turnaround about this matter, the better for us. You see bandits all over, the kidnappers all over. You think they are just coming from nowhere? It's bitterness. Day in and day out, people are seeing the kind of aggrandizement that our leaders are enjoying. And they know that these things are illegal. And they say, what is called legality? What are you talking about legality? And so they begin to connive and plan. They will go to and fro, monitoring when they too can strike. Government leaders must simply and simply. I thank God there was this young man, Sonny King. He will tell us the people are sovereign. Government is not sovereign, not even the law. The constitution is made by the people, and it is made for the people, and not the people for the constitution. So everywhere you see anything wrong, people should gather together, dialogue, decide that this is how we can stop it. But so long as you allow it and say just some people are enjoying it, me that dashing me car, me the anytime I'm sick they can send me abroad with government free money. Thank you. Blah blah blah. What of you cannot even do it. Like now I'm struggling with water in the front of my house. The other day one pipe goes nowhere.
Thank you. So I'm so sorry. We have to disconnect. Thank you. You have made your points quite elaborately. Thank you very much for your contribution. Okay, Mr. Atsehe, let's go back to the issues raised by Peter Shakume. Yeah. You listened to him, and I tried to do a recap of it earlier too. He was asking us role of the DGSAs and treasurers in local government, and when you raise memos to the chief executives and they're not respected or your opinion is not accepted, what are you expected to do?
Well, what obtains now, I wouldn't know.
Okay, but
by the standard,
yes,
by the standard of the time I was in service, most of these issues that I see now were not in place. Before then, let me explain. The DGSA is the accounting officer of the local government. He coordinates all the departments. He's the chief administrative officer and the accounting officer of the local government, while the treasurer is the chief accounts officer who keeps all the monies of the local government. The treasurer is one amongst the other heads of departments in the local government. But as you see, where money is involved, there is more attention to it. You have other departments like agric, education, health, revenue, works. So the DGSA, as the head of administration, filters what comes from the departments before sending it to chairman or the council for consideration. If the chairman has an idea and he sends it to the DGSA normally will send it to the relevant department, which they will do the filtering before it comes back to him and it gets to chairman and the council. That is how the system is supposed to work. When we were there, we were able to tell councils that this is not correct. But don't forget, the way you approach a politician is very important. You don't need to quarrel, but you need to make the politician see the point you are raising. So if you feel you are the head of administration and the accounting officer, and you can just walk into the chairman and tell him, no, honorable chairman, this is not correct, this is not, then you've missed the point. You must take your time so that the chairman will understand what you are telling him. Don't forget, he has the power and you as DGSA has the authority. And if you don't balance the two, the system will not work. So it is possible to advise the politicians and they will listen to you if they want to. I want to give you an example. When the government of Susan came in, there was an amendment to the local government law that was bringing down the retirement period for local government to 30 years. And they called us all to the Nongu office to sensitize us and prepare our mind that those who have stayed for 30 years should begin to think of going. The labor became incapacitated. They didn't understand what to do. At the end of it all, they requested me as the chairman of DGSS to give a vote of thanks. I stood up and I told His Excellency that, well, that law has been passed, but it conflicts the Constitution because the House of Assembly has no right to make any law determining the period of service. And to the bewilderment of everybody, the governor then stood up and said, no, I think there's a mistake somewhere. Nobody is going to retire at 30 again. So when you summon courage, but make your presentation polite, I'm sure every human being will be taken into it. So to say, the only problem we have is that there are frequent changes that some of the people brought into offices may lack the courage to face councils. There was in one council, I refused to sign an irrevocable standing payment order because they wanted to use the overheads, the running costs, to take a loan, and to them, if they take that loan, everybody was going to have 1 million naira. And the irrevocable payment, their overhead costs will then be domiciled and be paid through that bank where the payments will be made. the matter became so heated. We were dragged to Makodi. The governor didn't understand. He asked the chief of staff to preside over our discussion. And in that discussion, I told them I will not sign an irrevocable payment standing order for the overhead cost. They were very bitter with me. They went back and did all sorts of things they wanted to do. The overhead cost comes when the house is sitting. What happens when these people are now? What happens when I go? That is not a personal allowance where you go and take loan and want it to be domiciled in a bank. So there are issues when you say no. Anybody listening to you will know that you are saying the right thing. For instance, if the chairman walks in the office in the morning and gives you a list of postings of stuff that he has done, you first go and study the relevance of that posting. Allow his office to be cleared and come back to let him know. Chairman, it will not be proper if you become directly involved in posting staff in the local government. I should be held responsible for the conduct of any staff. One-on-one, the chairman will understand. He didn't confess to you why he had to do that. Because there are some postings like the politicians will sit, write and come and give chairman. The DGSA is expected to absorb and take all blames for the council. You don't need to be afraid. Some of the decisions chairman may pass to you may just be to escape from his politicians. You are not a politician. You should be able to absorb it. If they do a list of posting and give chairman and you discuss with chairman, each time they come, the chairman will tell them, no, that thing is with DGSA. Let them go ahead and complain that the DGSA wants to sabotage you. Because you have been able to convince your chairman, he will not sit up to feeling that you are not doing your job. So there are a lot of ways the career person can advise and ensure that the right thing is done.
Okay, let's go along. We have several people waiting on the line, so let's engage with them before you continue with your thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
This is Nathaniel from Nongu.
Welcome to the program, Emeka Nyogo.
Yes. I thank my Oga Afel for the way you have explained. There are a lot of problems in local government. And we cannot blame only politicians, we have to blame the workers themselves. Because before a local government chairman who is elected under any platform comes, he may be a very poor man. But as soon as he comes into the office, most of the officials will teach you how they can make money, how you can make money, and they will be there to back him up. So I am of the opinion, if the DGSS, especially my Oga when they're there, go tell the other people to stand up and say no to any decision that a council chairman have brought to embezzle the money of local government. The man, if they say no, the politician cannot take the money out.
Hello, Emeka Nyogo. Hello. Oh, we lost connection with Emeka Nyogo. The line seemed to be breaking and eventually the connection is lost. All the same, you have made your point and the line is still open. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Please, kindly move away from your radio set or turn down the volume so we can hear you better.
Hello.
Good morning, you are on. Speak to us.
Okay, my name is Jonathan Ichawe.
Welcome to the program, Jonathan Ichawe. Where are you reaching us from, sir?
in Hudco Estate, North Bank.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Please please go ahead with your submission.
Yes. The issue of local government is the problems are multifarious. First, the supervising of local government by the state is the greatest problem local governments have. Unless they are given their independence, full independence, it will be wrong to blame them. I'm an accountant by profession, so let me talk about the revenue. The states, particularly our states, have taken over even revenue items that are supposed to be for local government. What is BRS doing in local government markets? The law is very clear that they should not go into local government markets. They are only to collect revenue from markets that they built, the state government. So for Benue State, it should only be the modern market and the international market. The North Bank market is for Makudi local government. The Uruku market is for local government. The high level market should be for local government. And so are all the other markets. And that's one of the areas where local government derives most of their revenues. If you go to all our local government, you know they have a lot of markets. And some of these markets hold every 5 days. Hello?
You are on. We are listening to you, sir.
Okay. So, then, the law is, there is also the law that the state government should share 10% of their own collected revenue to local government. I don't know whether that is done. Rather, it is what is sent from the Federation account for local governments that state government gets into. Now, local governments have, I think, 4 or 5 bodies in the state headquarters that they are responsible in financing. You have SUBEP, you have Bureau for Local Government, you have Local Government Service Commission, you have Auditor General for local government. What is left after you have taken money to service all these bodies? And then any of them, even the state government, any staff that is going for any work at the local government, they make sure the local government takes care of them. Even if it is not official, they go there, they expect that the local government should accommodate them, they expect that the local government should pay for their stay and for their feeding. So the local governments are totally muddled now. So we talk about that first before we begin to talk about how local governments are run. If they do not have sufficient revenue, there's nothing you can do. When I went to secondary school, it was the TMA that gave me scholarship to do my secondary school.
Okay.
That is what the road from Boku to Makudi was constructed by the TMA.
All right.
All the roads from Boko to Madika, from Boko to Adiko to Zakibiam, all those roads were done by local government from their revenue and whatever was coming from the regional government.
All right.
No,
I think the constitution should be amended to free local government from the shackles of the state.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you for your contribution. The constitution should be amended to free local government from the shackles of the state, and with revenue as a focus, which Jonathan Ichabe pointed out. Okay, one more call, then we'll come back to our discussions today. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Benjamin Tewase. I'm calling from High Level.
Okay, Benjamin Tewase, good to have you.
Thank you, sir. Please, I want to appreciate the guests in the studio.
Thank you.
My question is, I want clarification on local government, separation of power in the local government system in Nigeria. You know, it is noted that the argument for introduction of separation of power, especially between the executive and legislatures in the local government level, is based on the concept of check and balance. So I want you to understand that most of the times they teach us some of those things in school, but it's not the things that are actually happening in our contemporary society. It is expected that the legislators, they even have the power to impeach the officers some of the officers in the local government whenever they are not carrying out their functions and showing transparency. But I realize that there is a kind of a master-servant relationship between these two. And it's what they do, you as a common man, it's difficult for you to understand what they have been doing because we are not even into the system. Like me, I've never had an opportunity to work with local government. I don't know what they do. Anytime that whatever they do is, maybe they will do it, we'll just see that, yes, local government is trying and all that. But this relationship between the executives and the legislators, most of the times that they are supposed to check the activity of the local government. And most of the times we don't really know what they are doing.
Okay.
Now, I want to actually ask my officer there this question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it that the constitution as amended in 1999 is favors only the executives, or maybe they try to go in a relationship between them so that they will not checkmate their activities or not?
Okay.
That's number one.
Yes.
My second question is, how large or small should a local government be achieved efficient and effective system for rural development?
All right.
Because this is one of the issues that we've been having. If you go to the villages, you discover that most especially the primary health care, you go there are some places I want you to understand that if you go there, a snake may bite you. So what is happening?
Okay, thank you, Benjamin.
So that's my question, sir.
Thank you for your questions. We'll try to respond to them. Dear listener, I'd like to inform you at this moment that our second discussant that I had earlier informed you was going to join us is now here in the studio with us. I'd like to welcome the former chairman of Way West Local Government Council, Honorable Andrew Ayande. Welcome to our studio, Honorable.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's good to...
Constitutionally, I'm not yet the former chairman. I am chairman Way West Local Government. Executive chairman Way West Local
Okay. We are aware that there is a caretaker transition
chairman. Strong constitutional.
In place. So,
yes.
For us. Okay. You have joined us, but I will allow the discussant, Mr. Salem Atsei, who had been on earlier with us, kindly speak to the separation of powers issues raised by Benjamin Tewase very briefly, then we'll go back to Mr. Ayande.
The Constitution of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, has made provision for states to pass the law for the structure, administration, finance of local government. So this may vary from one state or the other. But according to that law, it is expected that local governments in this state, our law has, in fact, let me be frank, our law has undergone too many changes. because the initial law that is there has been amended so many times to accommodate caretaker and administrators and all that. But constitutionally, it is expected to be elected local council. Mm-hmm. And the local councils have a legislature which should do the oversight, or we should pass the local government budget. We should serve as a guide to it. So the fears of the speaker is what I have already tried to talk about here. If there is a local government with an executive approving members of the local government council in their own legislature, then I don't understand what the state assembly will be doing again as it affects local government. But some of our contributors here have already come to my rescue by coming up clearly on how this system is being, the action or inactions of the state is impacting negatively on the local government. So there is supposed to be separation of powers. Whether there is separation of powers in our entire Nigerian system is another question. Anywhere you go in Nigeria, you see that because the executive has the cake and they have the knife, the legislators begins to compromise. So it's not just at the local government, at the state. Even in our federal polity, you may find issues like that happening. But that is not what is supposed to be. We are supposed to define our rules. Where the excesses are being done, they are supposed to be checked. But as for the system that we have now, it is just a matter of being some of the boys of the chairman. And in most cases, you find so many immatured boys or girls being elected councillor by their people. We have really forgotten the local government, where in real sense the matured ones should be the people who will stay back with their people to organize them. I remember people like Adamu Chiruma, when they left as minister, went back to these people to be councillor. I remember Shagari, when he left as federal commissioner, went back to be councillor. Here too we had a former deputy governor. The former deputy governor went back to his people. These are the people who have achieved so much. What they are left with is community service. And the local government should be sort of community service. But when you have young people who either they graduated and don't have any job, and they call themselves politician, and then they become councillor in the legislature, they may not even understand what is expected of them.
Okay. All right. Let me come back to Mr. Ayande. You have joined us quite belatedly. We're just a few minutes away from concluding, but you must take some shots on this issue. We are discussing strengthening local government system in Nigeria. From your experience as someone who has been a chief executive at the local government level, what are the basic challenges of the people at that tier of government, and how have you made efforts to meeting such challenges of development?
And I want to thank you, and I want to thank the listeners. I'm so sorry for being very late on this program. I took this program very important, and I left where I slept by 6:30 to ensure that I meet you people here.
Okay,
and,
we're glad that you are here finally. Yes. No matter,
so I'm sorry.
It's better late than never at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard my friend Chief Sarim explained so many issues concerning the local government system. but is supposed to affect the people that are owning the local government. Unfortunately, let me come in this way. Local governments are no longer owned by people. People outside are the ones running the local government system. No longer constitution, nobody is thinking about the laws, nobody is thinking about what we do and it will benefit the people. That's my worry. As somebody that has experience in this system, like my friend Salem would have. I started working for my local government as GLO of the local government and chairman of that local government and chairman again of the same local government. The people want to have health centers, good health centers. They want to have schools, good schools, well furnished. The people want to have bridges, roads, going to their places. But unfortunately, nothing of such is happening at our local governments.
And why is this so?
Why it is so is that the system is controlled overboard, not at the local government level. The people that are looking after that wants to control the system over there are doing what they feel they should do.
It is
some governors will ask you, Chairman, what is the challenges of your people? They will ask you and assist you to do. But some will turn their blind eyes completely from the local government systems. They want to do what they feel they will do in their states. So there is no uniformity in the running of the local government system, and the people are suffering. The people are suffering. If you go, somebody was mentioning, if you enter some of the secretariats, you run away from snakes. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay. There is nothing there is nothing constitutionally that ventured into caretaker system. But because you are from, I come here today as the governor of the state, and I want to put my people there, even when it is against the constitution. You bring small boys and put 3 or 4 of them there, and whatever you want, it is what they will do. They are not thinking about the people. They are not thinking about the security of the people. They are not thinking about how people are feeding themselves. They are not thinking about the health challenges of the people, because the system is controlled over there. They have no control themselves. So if this kind of things are no longer happening at the local government level, we'll go very far. When I came in, somebody was talking about the native authority constructing roads for their people, constructing bridges for their people. You see, you can't find an overseer anywhere you go to any local government that is in charge of roads, rural roads. It's unfortunate. It's not the problem of the constitution. It is the problem of the people that are in control of the system.
And anyway, let's we'll take one more call, which definitely will be our last call. Then we'll come back and conclude. We have several of these calls which have been waiting. Well, unfortunately, our time is up. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. You are our last caller, and we have just 2 minutes for you.
I appreciate your guest.
Yes.
I am Peter. I'm coming from my place.
Okay, Peter.
I also want to appreciate the other in a whole camp.
Thank you.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Peter, your line is breaking. Kindly change your position. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, we can hear you. Speak to us. Oh, Peter, it is very unfortunate we are not able to get through to you because the network really did not allow us. But that will definitely be the last call we'll take because our time is up. I'm with you, Mr. Ayande.
Yes.
It is alleged that you chief executives at the local government level as chairman control everything about revenue in the tip balance as your own okra tool, which you do not apply the internally generated revenue for development purpose to meet the needs of people at the grassroots. How do you react to this?
You see, a team man will say, you name the dog, give him a name,
bad name,
a bad name in order to hang. I have never collected revenue as chairman in my local government as my tool. When I came to as chief executive, when I came in as chief executive of the local government, my local government had no local revenue account. I went and opened one. I never one day pressurized my DGSA, go and remove money and come and give me because I need money from the revenue. Anything that comes, and if you have visitors, I will ask you, you are in charge, go and remove money, give to feed you, take care of your visitors. Go and remove money, take care of this security issue. Give them. I was never in charge. And when I came in the second time, I did the same thing. I opened an account that money collected from markets should go to that account, revenue account, so that our local government will have something to show. You know, this revenue generation, you must present it as every time you are presenting a budget. You must. It is based on this that other indices will be counted in favor of your local government. So I never enjoyed that at all in my life. And when people talk like that, I don't know whether there are no longer checks and balances in their system. Sometimes I believe they talk like that in order to disgrace council chairman. People can say that to disgrace council chairman, but I don't think in a real situation something like that is happening. There's nothing like a tool chairman in revenue generation. And I believe also that there is nothing like a tool governor between the governor and the revenue generation board in the state.
Okay, a few messages, then we'll come back and conclude. This one says, I'm Philip Nandife from Kanshio. Local government autonomy can only be realized in the Fifth Republic. Total nation reformation is what Nigeria needs. In the Fifth Republic? Okay. It's all right. This one says, good day to the presenter and guests in the house. The problem we have at the local governments depends on they have failed to uphold administrative laws which establish them for constitutions are kept aside by both the elected officers and core career civil servants. And if we want to move forward developmentally at the local government levels, local government levels should caution themselves and make reverse to do the right thing without fear or favor. This will reserve a legacy for our children who are leaders of tomorrow. Nyajo Godwin from Bajimba in Goma local government. Thank you, Nyajo, for your message. Another one here says, the local government is an independent body and the closest form of government to the masses. Hence, they are the third tier of government. It might be strengthened by the government administrators to augment the narrative. Isaac Otua from EA in Goma. Okay, Isaac, thank you very much. Few messages, those are the ones we'll be able to accommodate, but we'll try to conclude, and this is your parting shot, Mr. Atsehe. There have been strong agitations and advocacies for INEC to take over the conduct of local government elections at the state's level. What would be your thoughts in this regard, very briefly?
I had mentioned in the past year that we have tried to have selection rather than election. With the state INECs all over Nigeria, I have not seen one state where another political party has been able to win one seat, except maybe sometimes in Kaduna, where Rufai was trying to play to the gallery and allowed the PDP control like 5 local governments. If we, it's just what is in us. Or there's nothing wrong with the State Independent Electoral Commission. But if we must have the winner takes all attitude, the issue there is, we want to have the winner takes all attitude. And therefore, if that attitude is not changed, then we should have one electoral body. But we cannot continue like that. We need to work so much on our attitude. This attitude of the winner takes all. If only the political parties are there and they feed candidates and ensure that elections are held, we'll have a different story. It will even become a little test for testing the popularity of a government that is in place. But at times, even the political parties would withdraw from participating in these elections, giving the ones that are in place a fit day. So it is simply a matter of attitude.
Okay, we should stop at that with you, Mr. Ayande. This will also be your parting words, and in 1 minute, tell us how should the people at the grassroots hold the local government executives accountable to, provide development for the people.
You see, anything you are doing must have a repercussion. If you perform good as local government chairman, tomorrow, or councillor, tomorrow your people will hunt for you. I think they hunted for me.
Every politician will say that. You are a politician, so...
No, they hunted for me.
Okay.
To be chairman in a local government 2 times, it's not an easy task. When people talk about selection, I was not selected. So I put that by the side. By the way, but you see, the chief executives are also human beings. If the people love anybody, that this man must be our chairman, no matter whatever political party. And I believe that our own didn't do that. Our own, the one that I worked under, Dr. Otom, never did that. And I believe also that Governor Alia, who is a reverend father, will not do that. He will not just cancel elections because he wants to put our chairman in place. I believe so.
Okay.
And if it is not so, then there is something wrong with God himself that created us.
Okay, we should stop at that. We are totally out of time. That's our program for today, which will discuss the strengthening local government system in Nigeria. I appreciate my discussions on the program. A retired Director General Services and Administration, Mr. Salem Asehi. Thank you for your thoughts on perspectives.
Thank you so very much.
The former chairman of Gwe West Local Government Council, Mr. Andrew Ayande. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for being a part of today's edition. Join us on Friday for another edition. My name is Nathaniel Nongu. Have yourself a great